Patricia Neski, Allemagne.
Germany. Here's the bronze medalist at the European Championships from Germany, Patricia Neski, actually born in Harbor City, California, but left the United States for her parents' homeland in 1984. She lost out to Marina Kilman and Claudia Leisner for a berth on the '88 Olympic team, but she beat out Simone Lang at the European Championships in Lausanne to be here. The music is David Foster's Morning to Morning.
Simone is going to attempt the triple sow-cow double toe combination, which on the difficulty scale is one of the easier combinations, and she flipped out of the double toe, the triple sow, and did the double toe.
Lovely double axel there. She not only beat Simone Lang for the second position here on the German Olympic team in ladies figure skating, but she came from behind, which, as she's just demonstrated, she sometimes struggles in the original program but makes up for it in the long. Should be pointed out that, like the men's event, there are 29 ladies entered here, and only 24 will make the cut to skate the long program out of this original program, the top 24.
Well, Patricia will receive a deduction of approximately 0.3 or 0.4 for the mistake on the combination jump, but I thought overall the program was well choreographed and she was very musical.
And the first set of marks, and obviously she pays heavily for the mistake in the combination. All the marks in the fours, but for the German judge at 5.0. Here are the presentation marks, and they're much higher, but for the Danish judge, 4.9, and those are third place marks at this early stage. Kind of a surprise for Patricia Neski.
Here at the 16th Winter Games, we're figure skating at the Olympic Ice Hall in Albertville. The original programs in the women's singles. Let's return to our commentators, Chris Cuthbert, Barbara Underhill, and Paul Martini.
Well, Nancy is one of the best at combining grace and athleticism. She's skating to a beautiful piece of music that was composed for her by former pairs skater Mark Militano. Opening with the triple Lutz double toe combination. Gorgeous.
spread eagle step forward right into that double axel, and that sets up for the judges an opportunity to give her marks for degree of difficulty, because that's just not a straight setup into that double axel. And again, a difficult entry into her double jump. It was like a back shoot the duck right up into the double Lutz jump.
Everything out there tonight seemed to flow so easily for Nancy. She just looked so light, and everything looked very effortless.
Well, throughout her time here in preparation for this event, she has been very relaxed. Every time she's come out to practice, she's had fun with it. She's enjoyed being here. And I would think that from Paul Wiley's performance, she's garnered something from that.
Well, nerves used to be a problem for Nancy Kerrigan. She's taken stress management courses, listens to relaxation tapes.
Look at the height on that triple Lutz, straight back up into the double toe. Very light, very easy.
Quite sure they'll be the highest we've seen so far. 5.5 from the French judge, 5.6s and 5.7s. And remember, when Nancy won the bronze last year in Munich, she came from 5th after the original program.
And with that effort, with her jumping up onto the podium in Munich last year and the American ladies sweeping that event, it created a situation here at the Olympics and then again in Oakland in 3 weeks' time, where the United States is the only country eligible to have 3 ladies enter.
Presentation marks even higher, up to a 5.9 from the judge from the unified team. First place marks across the board. Here's the silver medalist at the last Soviet National Championships, Tatiana Rachkova. She's from Moscow, didn't qualify for the 91 Worlds, but at Lausanne, she was 6th after the original program. Her problems came in the long program, and she finished 14th overall. Nevertheless, we've seen this to be a very strong short program.
Here's her combination, which is triple toe, double toe. Very solid.
She executes a flying camel spin, which qualifies as the flying jump spin in the original program. I thought it was a strong performance. The biggest thing that's going to come into play is the degree of difficulty in her jump combination.
Here are the presentation marks, and again, the German judge at 4.8 has her rated 6. She has third place marks from 3 of the judges, and overall, Rachkova of the unified team stands 4th. Here is the 6-time British champion, Joanne Conway, who appeared to be well on the comeback trail last year when she was 4th at the Europeans and 7th at the Worlds, but had a disappointing 9th place finish in Lausanne, and Barb went back home to regroup.
Well, in Lausanne, she was trying out 2 new programs that Christopher Dean had choreographed for her, but she decided after Lausanne they just weren't working for her. They were a little bit too difficult, and she's gone back to both of last year's programs. She's opening with the triple flip combination, which she's had difficulties with. And she barely pulls it through.
Gets it in. I think the biggest change I saw in Joanne upon arriving here at the games was confidence. It looks like she's comfortable with these programs and she's much more aggressive out there. Now there was a silly error. Joanne has a very strong double axel, and after getting the combination in, that could prove to be a costly mistake.
Well, certainly a much more relaxed Joanne Conway than we saw at the Europeans. But Paul, that was a really silly error on the double axel. She has been having so many problems with the triple flip combination. She pulls it off and then comes down right to the other rink and makes a mistake on an easy jump.
Well, I think she's made 2 mistakes in this program, the double axel being one of them, but the other one was the fact that she only executed a double loop as her required double jump, which on the degree of difficulty scale is not that difficult.
See if the second set goes up, and it does, all the way up to a 5.5. She has a second place mark from the Chinese judge, but marks from France and Japan are 7th on the board. So right now, Joanne Conway of Great Britain stands in 6th place.
Tonya Harding, États-Unis d'Amérique.
She says she wasn't born with a silver spoon in her mouth, but she did win the world's silver medal last year in Munich. Her whole life story really has been laid out for all to read in the past few months, and she's been under enormous pressure. I think the only thing left unexplained is how she'll do here, because we really haven't seen much of her. She came in late, and she hasn't practiced well.
Well, she didn't practice well at all yesterday. She really had a lot of problems with her jumps, but today came in and landed every single jump. I spoke to her afterwards. She was really on top of the world, feeling really good. She is trying a very high-risk combination, the triple axel double toe. And watch the speed that she takes going into it.
She's starting to set up for it now.
just didn't look over top of herself there. About Tonya's skating is her speed, her attack. She's a very gutsy skater, but tonight it just wasn't there for her.
Well, she certainly needed the combination bar because Tonya cannot make up for it in the artistic aspect of the mark. She certainly doesn't have what Christy Yamaguchi or Nancy Kerrigan offer in that part of figure skating. Here we're looking at that attempted triple axel combination. She's leaning almost from the moment she takes off and is nowhere in a position to land the first jump. So as a result, she's going to look at least a 0.5 deduction for that mistake.
Here come the marks for required elements, and with that 0.5 deduction in mind, there you see the end result, and the British judge at 4.9.
We just saw Tonya take a puff off of her inhaler. She is an asthmatic, which if she didn't have enough things to contend with in her life is one more challenge that faces her.
She has alternated since early '91 in each event with Christy Yamaguchi. They win one, then they lose one, and it was her turn to beat Yamaguchi, but these marks may make that difficult. Second set is much higher. She has second place marks from all but the Danish judge, who has her third, and the German judge, who ranks her fourth. Tonya Harding second overall. Well, it's still early in the competition, but it's beginning to look a little like Munich. Nancy Kerrigan, United States first, Tonya Harding, United States second, and here is the defending world champion and the new national champion of the U.S., Christy Yamaguchi.
Well, of the contenders, Christy has to be the most stable competitor in the group. She's been very consistent all week long. She has a beautiful program choreographed by Sandra Bezic to Blue Danube. Her combination is a very difficult triple Lutz, triple toe combination. And she did the triple Lutz, but she did a double toe on the end.
of Midori or her teammate, Tonya Harding, but she has an element of lightness out there. She appears to just float across the ice effortlessly at all times. Barb, I'm breathless, and I'm not often breathless after a sharp program, but she did every element in this program with such confidence, such control, such finesse. There wasn't one go by with a bobble or any sort of mistake. Just a wonderful, clean, well-executed program.
Well, I think the reason for her confidence is the fact that she does this program every single day without a problem. There wasn't a high-risk element because she does the triple-lutz every single day with very good consistency. Here is a look at the lutz, a little bit of a lean, but she goes right up into the double toe and lands it very cleanly. And here's a look at the double axel. Good height and a nice landing.
20 years of age from Fremont, California, but she has trained at the Royal Glenora in Edmonton for the past few years.
And she openly admits that training with Kurt has been a big motivating factor for her. She says watching Kurt inspires her to work on her own jumps, which is one of the things that she has received any criticism in recent years. It has been that her jumps just haven't been big enough or strong enough.
Kristi Yamaguchi is her coach. Interesting to talk to Sandra Bezic about her. She said that she just doesn't miss any of the subtleties and nuances introduced to a program. There are the marks, 5.6 from the French judge, up to 5.58 for her required elements.
Well, I think the artistic mark will come up a little bit.
5.8, 5.8.
She was here right at the start of this Winter Olympics, then escaped to Megève for a couple of days just to get away.
Second mark.
And she has been very consistent in practice, very consistent here. Those will be tough marks to beat. 2.58, 7.59, first place marks. And the United States is 1, 2, and 3 with Yamaguchi, Kerrigan, and Harding. Here's the 91 national champion, Josee Chouinard. It's been a rough year, 9th out of 10 skaters at Skate America. She was 8th at the Nations Cup. She's crashed her Jeep. Her purse was stolen. She lost her national championship, but she has skated very well in recent weeks and looked very sharp coming into this Olympic competition.
Well, the key for Josee here will definitely be her triple Lutz combination. It's the same combination that Christy Yamaguchi performed very well. And if she gets the combination, I think Josee could be up in at least the top 6.
Does a beautiful double flip, her required double jump here in the original program to get her feet underneath her.
And here comes the triple Lutz combination.
Barb, she had a lean, and when you're leaning out of a triple jump like that, it makes it very difficult to get up into the double jump. Nicely done double axel.
Josée, perhaps the most celebrated female athlete in Quebec since Sylvie Bernier.
Well, with that sixth place finish at the World Championships, Josée suddenly found herself in a position which I don't think she was prepared for. She really did leap into that sixth place position in the world rankings, and it put a lot of pressure on her.
Look at those presentation marks, much better, up to the 5-7 from the judge from Czechoslovakia, who has her ranked 4th. She has 2 4th place marks, but she also has 3 8th place marks. Overall, Josee Chouinard of Canada is in 7th place at the moment. Here is the new Canadian champion. She first won it in 1989. Then in 90 and 91, Karen Preston finished 4th. But she persevered and regained her national championship, and here she is fulfilling a dream, competing in the Olympic Games.
Well, it seems as though getting her title back, her national title back, has really renewed her confidence. She's been on all week long. She has a really nice program. She will be attempting a double axel here. Very well done. And now she's going into her triple flip double toe combination.
Nicely done. It was very difficult to tell whether she two-footed the first jump, but nonetheless, nice attempt and a nicely completed jump combination. A very beautiful layback spin from Karen. The ladies must execute a layback here in the original program. Karen finishes with a very strong flying camel spin. And for her, this is a big success. Cleanly executed program, all 8 elements done very nicely. She's got to feel good about this.
Look at that unusual spread of marks. 4-8 from Canada, 4-6 from France, 4-7 from Great Britain. Yet there is a 5-3 on the board and a 5-2. And I think there is some disparaging, or at least some different views of how she completed that combination.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. Some judges took at least a 0.2 and others didn't.
Well, 4-9 from the British judge for presentation, up to 5-4 from Germany and Czechoslovakia. They seat her 8th, although she has a 4th place mark from the German judge. Large Japanese delegation is on hand, and this is the moment they've been waiting for as Midori Ito skates to center. She jumped into our hearts in Calgary with that astonishing long program and a 5th place finish, but she's skating for gold here, and she will have to be perfect because Christy Yamaguchi was very impressive.
Barb, you've got to wonder if the change from the triple axel combination to the double Lutz combination has affected her concentration. She came here and had been practicing that consistently from day one, and I think perhaps it's thrown her a great deal. Wonderfully clean double flip jump, but the damage perhaps has already been done.
Well, it's really amazing the difference a week can make, because last week we were all saying, this girl is dynamite. She was just awesome in every practice. And then suddenly, she's just having so many difficulties.
Well, there have been many theories going about regarding when the ladies arrived here in Albertville for this competition. Some of them elected to stay home longer. Our two Canadian girls did that. Others, like Midori, like Kristi Yamaguchi, have been here since opening ceremonies. Kristi's come out, done a very nice performance. Midori comes out and struggles, so I don't know how much weight you can put in that.
Well, she certainly is a different skater than we saw in Calgary. In Calgary, we saw a skater full of life. Here's a look at the triple Lutz. Look at the height she gets. And it looks like she's just not over top of her skate. She's a little bit back on her blade and can't hold on to it.
That's going to cost her at least 0.5 on her technical merit mark.
Watch the height on this double axel. But it seems as though the spark or the, I'm not sure what it is, but it's the smile is gone. Something about the love for it all that she had in Calgary, it just doesn't seem to be there. And I think it has to do with the fact that she put so much pressure on herself.
Clearly there was a lot of pressure on that combination. And Barb, I remarked during the warm-up that, like Kurt Browning, she seemed to be dwelling on that combination. She tried it 3 or 4 times, as Kurt did. And I know many were surprised Kurt dwelled on the combination in warm-up as much as he did, and the same result occurred for her.
Well, she landed it 3 times out of 4 in warm-up. Usually in a warm-up, you go out, you do it once or twice at the most. And she just kept doing it over and over.
Let's find out how large a price she must pay. Well, the marks in the 5s from the 5-1 from Great Britain. Mary Pearson has a 5-4. The Canadian judge, the Japanese judge, also at 5-4. And they can't get much higher than 5-4 because of the mistake on the combination.
Well,
Tonya Harding also had problems with her combination.
What's being taken into account here is the fact that Midori doesn't do anything slow out there. She's out there flying from start 1, and that is one of the things that I think you're seeing reflected in that technical merit mark.
Well, the marks for presentation much higher, and she's in 3rd place from 8 of the 9 judges. The British judge has her ranked 6th, but she's 3rd overall, and she remains in striking distance of Christy Yamaguchi going into Friday's long program. So disappointment, but perhaps a silver lining.
Leticia Hubert.
A great roar comes up from the crowd for the World Junior Champion from Versailles, France, Leticia Hubert. Prior to the World Junior Championships in Hull, best known for her collision in warm-up with Midori Ito and Barb. We almost saw another collision earlier this week between the two in practice, and they both responded with huge smiles.
Her jump combination coming up is a triple loop, double toe loop. Gorgeous.
Double axel. And I must say that when we saw Leticia win the Junior World title in Hull back in December, I don't think she believed that she was that good. She sort of couldn't believe that she won the event. But between then and now, she certainly has come to realize, it appears within herself, that she really can come out here and compete with the best in the world.
Well, I think being at home in front of a French crowd has really energized her, and I've really noticed it on practice. When the French people come in to watch the practice, she really enjoys the attention. Patricia Hubert is a very serious, intense skater, but certainly this was a very different skater out here tonight. She really enjoyed herself.
Barb, the French men crumbled under the pressure here at the Olympic Ice Hall earlier in the week, but that's as well as we've seen Leticia skate, and the house is going wild.
Well, of the entire French figure skating team, she has by far been the most relaxed, the most confident, the best performance. It's as if the pressure here never has really come to bear on her shoulders, and she came out and just gave an absolutely wonderful performance. Here we're looking at her triple loop, double toe combination, and every element she executed was with a lot of speed and a lot of flow, both into these elements and out of them. Her double axel, great speed, as you can tell by the way how fast the boards fly by behind her.
What a magnificent reaction as she greeted her coach, Josee. She's beside herself. That certainly was not the look we saw in Hull, even when she won. She has been practicing here since day one, right after the opening ceremonies on empty ice. And it certainly has paid off. That's Josee, who is a father figure and coach. Here come the marks, and the fans are not happy. Mary Pearson low on the scale at 5'1".
Well, I don't know how that set up. We'll have to wait until we see her second set of marks to see where she's going to fit in here in the original program, but that's a set of marks that really could keep her in contention, at least in the top 10 for sure, maybe top 5.
French judge 5'5", British judge 5'5". This from a young lady who was 26th at last year's World Championships in Munich. Presentation marks, and she's delighted. The fans want even higher. She has a third place mark from the French judge and from the Danish judge and from the British judge. She's just bumped Tonya Harding to 5th, and Leticia Hubert in tears, but tears of joy is in 4th spot. There is a suggestion that the coaches will split with Bonaly after this competition, but let's see how she does, because she certainly has the talent to crack into the medals the way the evening has gone.
Well, she looked absolutely great on practice this afternoon. She was jumping for fun. Midori Ito was out there having problems with her triple axel, and Surya just came around and did a triple axel. I've never even seen her do a triple axel.
That costume, by the way, designed by French designer Christian Lacroix.
Her combination, triple Lutz, double toe loop. And she barely pulled that through, but she got it. Not only from being in her own country, but her mother and this whole situation. But I see a great improvement in Surya over the last year. Not only has she become a more consistent skater, but her in-between skating has really improved. There she is. There is her coach, Didier Gagoué and Annick Gagoué.
Her mother just in behind. She was up at the boards during the program as well. Well, Evie Scottvold, the coach of Nancy Kerrigan, said this girl can't skate, but I think she's proving to a lot of people that she is rapidly improving and certainly to be reckoned with.
Well, it just shows that she has really concentrated this year on what people criticized last year, and that was her skating, her basic skating ability in between the jumps.
Here we're going to look at her double axel, and I would regard this performance as a technical success. Artistically, though, I was confused. The dress is a beautiful powder blue, soft, gorgeous lines. The music was anything but. And then interspersed amongst the program, we had this like relaxation music. It almost sounded like the sounds of nature interjected. So as a concept, as a total program, I hope this audience isn't disappointed if the artistic marks come up and they're not as high as they might have hoped for.
18 years of age and all the pressure of France on her. It started when she read the Olympic oath and was rather nervous about that. Well, the crowd reacting to the mark. And look at the Mary Pearson at 5'3" with the British judge, but the rest are higher. The initial reaction from the crowd was negative, but those are a great set of marks.
5'6".
This could be trouble for Midori Ito, and they look higher than Leticia Hubert.
5'5", 5'4", 5'6", 5'3", 5'6".
Some didn't consider her a true medal threat, but she certainly is now. Presentation marks. Paul, you As you suggested, they went down a bit, but she has a second-place mark from the French judge, and 4 third-place marks. She's in third place. She bumps Ito to 4th, and now Midori Ito will need help to win the gold medal. So it's Yamaguchi, Kerrigan, Bonaly, Ito, and Hubert makes it 2 for France in the top 5.
So all the elements are there for a great medal night, but don't go away, there's plenty more to come here on. In yesterday's final practice for the women's original programs, the French hope Surya Bonaly was accused of, quote, almost cheating, unquote, by the reigning Olympic champion and now TV commentator Katarina Witt. Bonaly did a backflip, a move not allowed during competition, and landed dangerously close to Japan's Midori Ito, one of the hot favourites. Although Bonaly had nothing to say, her coach denied that she had actually intended to collide with Ito. More likely, she was trying to psych out her rivals with a trick few others can perform. And a top official agreed. He said it was gamesmanship, pure and simple. The girl we're going to see skate next is one of the main American hopes, Tonya Harding. The 21-year-old from Portland in Oregon won silver in her first World Championships last year. And as we're about to hear, she thinks she can only get better.
AMP, proudly bringing you Profile of an Olympian.
I could be the best. I mean, I know that I can be the best. I mean, I have the ability and I want it bad enough. So I'm going to do everything I can to make my dreams come true.
As with most fairy tales, Tonya Harding's dream began with everything stacked against her. She was poor from a tough section of Portland, Oregon. Her father worked various jobs but never earned much more than $5 an hour. The family was so desperate that Tonya and her mother used to collect bottles and cans to help make ends meet.
It was very hard. My mom made me my clothes. I didn't get store-bought clothes. It was difficult. You know, there was a couple of times where I almost had to quit skating because my parents couldn't afford it. I mean, I can remember when my dad hocked his car so I could skate. So he would have more money so I could skate. It was right before a competition, and we had already signed up for me to go, and then ended up not having the money to be able to go, and so my dad hocked his car for it. For somebody to do something like that for me, I mean, I know he loves me. I mean, with all his heart.
My goal is to see her compete in the Olympics, and now it's going to happen. And I can't be more proud. I mean, you can't measure proudness. But if you could, it would be an awful big jug.
Inner city kids see basketball as one way out of the ghetto. For Tonya, it was figure skating.
It's given me my life. I mean, if I didn't have figure skating, I have no idea where I would be. I mean, I've grown up with figure skating and with all the people around it and their support and their love, and I just really think that I'd be lost without it.
If there's any virtue in growing up on the mean streets, it's probably stubborn independence, which this 21-year-old is proud of.
I don't know. I don't mind getting dirty. You know, I'm not like every other person. I always thought it was important to know that, you know, if I'm gonna get stranded on the side of the road, that I'd know what it was that what I could do. You know.
Tonya's choreographer knows what makes her so special.
Tonya has had nothing given to her, and she doesn't have the same American darling. She's not the same American darling that we've had before. She's tough.
That was a demo.
Tough? Tonya dickers for a car.
You're gonna have to make me a really good deal because I'm not gonna pay $18,000 for that.
Okay.
I'm very competitive. You know, when somebody asks me to do something or they say, well, I don't think you can do that, then I'll go out there and I'll prove them wrong. So I would consider myself very competitive.
Which she proved last year, beating favorite Christy Yamaguchi at the U.S. Championships, becoming the first American woman to land a triple axel in competition. But after placing second at the World Championships last March, things started to come apart for Tonya again. She separated from her husband, Jeff Gillooly, and suddenly decided to leave her coach, Dodie Teachman, and coach herself.
Well, sure, I've made mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. I was only away from Dodie for a week, and I called her up. I said, Dodie, I'm sorry. We need to talk. I mean, I had so many things going on in my head and just, you know, a lot of difficult times. And so, I mean, I didn't even think about anything I was doing.
She can be stubborn sometimes. She's basically has a real big heart. And you'll see that when she's working with like, some of my other students or being around my children. I think there's a real rough exterior that hides that from a lot of people. So people don't really realize that, you know, she really is kind of the puppy dog inside.
For now, Tonya's back with her husband, but the ending for this fairy tale is yet to be written.
My dream was to always be in the Olympics. I'd be satisfied with bronze, but I want the gold. And if that means if I had to train 10 hours a day to do it, I would, because I want it.
Upon a star, your dreams come true.
I'm not gonna let this dream go. I mean, I've worked 17 years for this, and I'm not gonna blow it now.
It's a very special place, the Savoie. No wonder the French are very proud of it. 44.5 kilos or 7 stone in the old imperial measure is not very big, whichever way you may say it. But when it's packaged in the shape of a Japanese figure skater named Midori Ito, it's 44.5 kilos of dynamite. She was the 1989 world champion. She's chasing her first Olympic medal here in Albertville, and we're going to meet her right now.
AMP, proudly bringing you Profile of an Olympian.
She is barely 5 feet tall, but to the competition, Midori Ito is the big hitter, and the triple axel is her home run swing.
Maybe it's like a home run in baseball. It's like, gosh, I did it.
How can she do those 3.5 revolutions from a launching pad of only 98 pounds? With Midori, the trick isn't how high she goes, but where she comes down, as she painfully discovered at the '91 World Championships in Munich.
It was my mess that I jumped into the camera pad. I've always been told that I should do my jumps in the middle of the rink, but I'm used to jumping on the edge of the rink. So when I jumped into the camera pad, I thought, why am I here? I must go and skate.
She finished 4th. Pretty good for most skaters, but not for the 1989 world champion, who admits her explosive programs are a necessary risk.
I'm very short and just a little bit chubby. Jill Tourney and Kristi Yamaguchi, they are stylish. I don't have that style, but I can do more powerful skating than they can.
Midori may not think she has style on the ice, but she knows where to find it off the ice. In her hometown of Nagoya, she prowls the department stores with her favorite partner, Machiko Yamada, who knows this 22-year-old better than anyone.
She has completed my family. She's like my daughter.
Yamada is called Midori's sensei, her teacher. The sensei-student relationship is revered throughout Japanese culture, but the Midori-Yamada relationship is unique, even by Japanese standards. Yamada also plays the role of Okasan, or mother. After Midori's parents separated when she was 10, Midori moved in with the Yamada family.
If I hadn't met Mrs. Yamada when I was little, I probably wouldn't be myself today. She's a mother first, then she's a coach, and third, she's my best friend.
And her second best friend is Yamada's daughter, Mikiko. Of course, they both know who's the favorite in the family.
We are more than friends. We understand each other like sisters.
If I were in her position, I would be rude if some other girl came into the family. But Mikiko accepted me warmly.
In a family with 3 women, Mr. Yamada is not exactly the head of the household.
Number 1だよ。I'm number 2 Number 3.
Actually, numbers 1 and 2 are interchangeable. When Midori needs, Yamada helps. And when Yamada pulls, Midori pushes.
She says she respects me, but she still won't pick up her clothes.
She has done a few commercials in Japan, where female sports celebrities are virtually unheard of.
Lager. Kirin Lager beer.
Yamada helps her cope with being a role model to the Midori wannabes, and just being a young woman who spent little time away from the ice rink.
Midori raises more questions than my daughter Mikiko does. Sometimes we stay up all night and talk about things like boyfriends.
Yes, this is really difficult to predict, but if I can meet somebody nice, it would be my pleasure.
No, it would be his pleasure to meet the little lady with that home run swing.